Hey everybody, it's Laura Lynn from Vita Familiae, and I wanted to do a curriculum wrap-up for you guys of the stuff that I tried this year that's new, that I've not reviewed before. I told you about it at the beginning of the year. You can find that under the School Life tab on the blog. So once again, I'm too lazy to type all this out. I just want to tell you about it. So here it goes. I'm only going to talk to you about the stuff that we use that's new. So the first thing that we tried this year was Spelling UC, which is developed by the Math UC people. We needed it because we had some major spelling issues with all of our kids. I taught them all to read with All About Spelling in their program, which theoretically should have helped them be better spellers, but I do have some dyslexia and some other issues going on at my house that make this an extra big challenge. So what I ended up doing was trying this. The reason why we liked it is because it has a lot of copy work in it, which as a brave writer instructor I believe in greatly. I think the more that they write the passages, the more they absorb the punctuation and the spelling and the grammar and all those things. Overall, we found it pretty successful. The kids were like, it's a lot of copy work. So what they'll do is, in most of the books, they'll copy the passage the first day, and they teach them this skill called chunking, which is, I don't know if you can, there you go. So they teach them, this is Ian's, so this is like 6th grade, all these vowel chunks, and they get to give him a color. And so he has to go through and highlight all these vowel chunks in the passage, and then do these in blue and these in purple. And when you order the curriculum, it comes with really nice little colored pencils for everybody. And they got pretty good at chunking. So they have to chunk the passage and then they copy it. And then the next day they chunk the passage again and then they copy it. And then the next day, if there are these higher level books, they start practicing with dictation. So they'll take dictation twice, I think, before it's done. The younger kids, I think they copy it another day or two. And then they take dictation at least once or twice. Some of my younger kids, it's kind of a long passage to dictate. It's certainly not as long as what you saw here. It's usually stuff like nursery rhymes. The Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, and they break it up. So one day they'll copy half the passage and the next day they'll copy the rest of it. The problem with that, I found, there's just only one book, I think it's B or C level, that it means that they only copy the full passage once before they're supposed to do dictation, and that's not enough times. They tend to build in this day where they're like, play with the passage, illustrate it, and I tell my kids, no, you have to copy it again. They didn't really complain about it too much though. There's colors, the pictures are pretty. So I didn't hear a lot of complaining about it. This was just their independent work that they were supposed to do on their own unless they needed dictation. The earlier grade level, I think it's level A or B, that Willow was doing, the first half of it is spelling words. So I had to read her spelling words every day. And it wasn't like she studied that list and then had to memorize it. It was, here's a spelling rule, here's a vowel chunk, EA. All the words I'm going to give you to spell use that rule, so let's practice with it. So she kind of had to learn how to build the words on her own. And I do believe that I see her spelling stronger at this age than my others were. So I think it did develop a good skill in her. So especially if you've got younger ones, this is great. And then if you need to reinforce the spelling with kids, Spelling UC worked pretty well. I think we are going to use it next year with almost everybody. I think everybody. So yeah, that's a ringing endorsement. You will need the teacher's manual when you order. I think the only option right now is to order the whole package, which comes with the colored pencils and the teacher's manual and the student's manual too. So I recommend those. We didn't fully finish it because we kind of are moving a little slower through the year. So you need like a book and a half for the school year if you're me. Some of you may need more. Another new curriculum that we tried this year was we switched everybody to Singapore math. We used the US edition, but not Common Core aligned. And you can get those, by the way, from Classical Academic Press. That's where we ordered. A few things you have to know when you're buying. You have to buy the textbook, and you have to buy them a workbook, which I don't have in my lap. And there's 2 parts to each school year. So there's, this is 4B. So we had to buy a textbook of 4A and 4B, and then a workbook of 4A and 4B, and that was for a full school year's worth of math for whoever did this book. What I didn't buy, I bought an answer key, which has all the answers. I bought 2, one that has like 1 through 3 answers, and then levels 4 through 6, all the answers, which is great, but it doesn't teach me how to teach it. So what I ended up doing was going back and buying the Home Instructor's Guide, which includes some extra lessons. And kind of walks you through, say this, now teach it to them this way, now work this problem together, which is what I needed because I'm not an instinctive math teacher. I would recommend that you spend, these cost more than the workbooks, but I think it's worth it. It's something that I wish we had done from the very beginning. Overall, I think we're really pleased with the results. We think the kids have a greater understanding of mental math, of their math terms. I like the way that it has taught the subjects. I do think, though, you have to teach it. You can't just rely on the textbook to make it clear. The textbook is not clear. It's got great pictures that's very colorful, and they love that. But without some explanation to go with it, you're lost. The kids are lost. The mom is lost. By the instructors. Do what I say. Okay. We aren't going to use this next year, not because we're not happy with it, but because I think I mentioned in the past that I am not a good math teacher, and Andrew, my sweet husband, is going to take over, and he has found something else that we're going to try. So I'll let you know about that when we get closer to starting next year. We have it as a fallback now, though, because we know we're happy with it, and we think that the results are better than what we were getting with Math UC. So I think it's a great curriculum. I do recommend it. We're just going to try something else next year because we're changing teachers. Andrew's going to be teaching it, so he gets to pick. So I'll let you know. Stay tuned. Last workbook I have to show you. This year we added Writing and Rhetoric. That's developed by Classical Academic Press. Now, I'm a teacher for Brave Writer. I'm 100% bought into their philosophy, and I use it at home, and I teach it to my kids in co-op, and it works for us all the way. That is my philosophy of teaching. What I needed was a little bit more structure to a language arts program, and I didn't even, because of this last year we were doing mirror surgery, I didn't even have the wherewithal to do Arrow or Boomerang, which is Brave Writer's most excellent program that helps you kind of pull the grammar and the literary elements out of copywork. Because our kids were doing spelling UC and they were already doing a great deal of copy work, and because I needed some real structure in order to help me get this aspect done, we went with Writing and Rhetoric this year, and we were really pleased. I feel like the two of them can work hand in hand. I can take my philosophies from Brave Writer, and then my kids and I we studied this together. So I would sit with them at the table. I had 2 in each book. And we would read the story together, we would talk about some of the literary elements, they would play with the passages. It's a good blend of grammar, of literature, and styles of writing. It also plays with things like, here's how you make an outline, here's how you compare and contrast. How would you change this sentence so that it means something different? Now how would you change this sentence, change the words in the sentence so it says the same thing, but you use different words? So you play with synonyms and antonyms, and it's kind of a playful look at the structural side of writing. I think overall we were really happy with it. I'm going to use it again with some of my kids, probably not all, just because they've got other stuff they need to move on to. But I do recommend it. I think it's great. I also recommend the Arrow and the Boomerang if you want to go that route. I think those also work fantastic. Those are a little bit shorter and can also work in conjunction with reading you may be doing for another subject. So either or I think is great. The last thing, I don't have a picture for you because it was on the computer. Many of you know I am a Tapestry of Grace lover. I'm a master teacher for Tapestry of Grace. I'm an advisor, and we didn't use it last year. I know. However, what we did do was we did Veritas Press online. I needed it for mirror surgery. It was with all the doctor's appointments that we were going to, I just couldn't take on the responsibility. I taught very few subjects this year total. Most of the kids, they were on their own. They were doing everything on the computer and bookwork, and that was just the way our year ran. I was happy overall with Veritas. My kids enjoyed it. They thought it was great. They all say history was their favorite subject this year. They all learned it. I hear them pop off with random facts about the Middle Ages or St. Thomas Aquinas. It is pretty heavy in church history, which is fine with me, but just so you know, it's there. I think this is more of a facts-based thing. We're not doing a lot of didn't see as much tying things together for them. That's why I love tapestry, is it's all a tapestry and it's all interwoven and your history matches your literature. And I kind of just took all the books that were recommended. We had them anyway for tapestry, so I just would dump them out and say, here, read these things. And, you know, my kids just are avid readers, so they would do what I said and they read the books. We didn't really do a lot of talking about it, so I don't know how many of those connections they made between the literature and the history. I know that they gleaned the facts. I know that they have a basic understanding of what happened in the time period we studied. We did Middle Ages and Reformation, and most of them are done. Some of them got a little lost and have to kind of catch up, but I think overall it was great for a year where I needed to fill in and kind of step back from that role. I'm super excited though. We are going back to tapestry next year. We're actually going to do a co-op. We're very excited to have one in town. Yay! So I'm looking forward to that, and I will tell you more about how that works when I know. I'm kind of letting other people handle that and just along for the ride. But I can tell you that if you're looking for an online history program, I recommend Veritas. It was great. It was a good fit for us this year. And that's all the new stuff I have to tell you about. All the other links are the same on that School Life page. That's what we're using. And I will update y'all again in August. Maybe I'll actually write a blog post. Maybe I'll just do another video. You never know. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.